Hello, friends. Welcome to Time Out with Noelle Janae, a bi-weekly Christian lifestyle podcast that focuses on being a college student, the Bible, and navigating being an adult, which is very hard. I am your host, Noelle Janae, and thank you so much for timing out with me. Here is what you can expect on today's podcast. Because being a music major is very competitive, and some of these people, whether they're your peers or your professors, are not the nicest. Okay, some tell you hard truths in a loving way because they love you. Some of them tell you hard truths in a not loving way because they love you, and that's just how they communicate. Some people are just straight mean. Okay, and you can. Hello, friends. And welcome back to another episode of Time Out with Noelle Janae. Hope you guys have had a good 2 weeks. Hope they have been good, fun, and fresh. If you are listening and you're like, Noelle, you sound so good. You sound so bougie. You sound magnifique. It's because I'm actually recording in a recording booth at my local library. Y'all, if y'all have not gotten a library card, people say the libraries are dying. They are not. They're in fact improving and being innovative. Like, you will never know the stuff your local library has. So go check them out. Like, our local library in Cleveland has a recording, like, studio booth thing. We have, like, a garden. We have, 3D printers. I'm about to actually fill out an application to volunteer. So volunteer in your local library because they need you. And it's a good, fun, and fresh time, honestly. As someone who has previously volunteered at a library, it's super fun. So yeah, that's my little promo for your local libraries. They're fun. And yeah, so go libraries. Today we will be talking about the life of a music major, okay? And I will be talking through some points. It's going to be a mini sermon, okay, about the wonderful and difficult and very complicated life of being a music major. And the first thing I want to say is that being a music major is hard, okay? Okay, it is not for the faint of heart, okay? You have to be dedicated. You have to want it. You have to want it so bad that you're going to go through slightly traumatizing events, okay? Yeah, music can traumatize. Okay, music can traumatize you. Some of the things I have been learning in music history are slightly traumatizing. Like about how Hector Berlioz took a bunch of opium, had an acid trip, and wrote this symphony about this woman who he loved and didn't love him, and she haunts his every waking moment. Oh my gosh, the things and the marriages of some of these guys are crazy, okay? So it's slightly traumatizing, okay, but it is worth it. Like, you'll be able to help people even better because music connects people. Music, it's a way to heal. A lot of some of the greatest pieces of music, some of the greatest lyrics came out of heartbreak or came out of trauma, and in order for them to heal, they had to get it out in some way, and it's helped other people heal also. So it's hard, but it's worth it. Another thing, talking about how hard it is, expect a lot of late nights, okay? Expect a lot of studying, a lot of frustration, a lot of stress, okay? But once again, it will be worth it. The fruits of your labor will be this. You will have a degree, and you will be able to help people even more effectively with the things you learned, okay? But late nights are a result of that sometimes, most of the times, because you have to study, and sometimes you can't study during the day. So you have to study at night for a big exam, and you just don't sleep. Yeah, that's a thing in college, is that you don't sleep a lot, which is bad. Don't sleep, please. Take naps, okay? I'm a big advocate for the nap, okay? I believe naps are holy and sanctified to the Lord, okay? Take a nap, please. Floor time is the best time in the music building, okay? Yes, I have actually slept on the floor of the music building with my friends. I'm convinced that music buildings should have bunkers, like underneath, like underground. This is like my grand, like it needs a restaurant, it needs showers, okay? Because we already practically live in the music building. Sometimes you don't want to leave your music building at 2 in the morning because it's unsafe to walk to your dorm. So we should get a bunker with cots so that we can sleep, okay? And sometimes during the day you just need a good nap. So that's also a good idea, okay? I may actually like design this because I think it's just the greatest idea ever. Okay, late nights. Yes, can you tell I haven't had much sleep because I'm like rambling. I'm rambling. I had a late night last night studying. One of the things that I think is something that makes or breaks you is if you have a backbone and if you can take criticism and harsh people, because being a music major is very competitive, and some of these people, whether they're your peers or your professors, are not the nicest, okay? Some tell you hard truths in a loving way because they love you. Some of them tell you hard truths in a not loving way because they love you, and that's just how they communicate. Some people are just straight mean, okay? And you can't take it personally because that may be the way God designed them to be, okay? But you have to have a spine and you have to have a backbone, or else you will crumble. And sadly, that's a lot of the reason why some people aren't music majors today, is because they couldn't handle people being uber mean or just being mean in general. Also, the fact that it's just super hard, and that I am convinced that's why comm majors were created, like studio engineer or whatever, is like they were created for ex-music majors. Like most of the people I've met who have quit being a music major are either a communications major or a religion major, and there's like no in between. Okay, there may be a couple outliers, but that's usually where the cookie crumbles. So yeah, you have to have a backbone, and you have to be able to take criticism well and apply it, and take it with a grain of salt, because some people who criticize will just criticize for the simple fact of being a criticizer. But if you keep getting a comment multiple times, you may want to like take it and be like, okay, why do they think this, and how can I fix it? So yeah. Drink lots of water. This is like foundational, okay? Hydrate or dihydrate, people. You gotta drink the water. You gotta drink the water. Because it helps your vocal cords, and it helps you produce a better sound, and also it clears your skin so you look better. I don't know if that's actually a thing. That's like something I've heard, but I heard from like an esthetician that like that actually isn't a thing. I don't know. I'm not in beauty school. I just look at whatever's on TikTok. So yeah, drink water. And I know everyone's like the worst at doing this, but please drink water. I'm terrible at drinking water. Dr. Pepper is my love language, along with pineapple juice. I love me a good glass of cold pineapple juice. But I have been trying to drink more water, and you should too. Along with that, I'm gonna switch a couple of these up. I have my notes right in front of me if y'all were wondering. Along with drinking water, have a good routine and an eating schedule and a sleep schedule. Good routines, good morning routines are foundational because getting out of bed 5 minutes before class and, you know, rolling into class, you know, not having started the day off correctly, will kind of ruin you after a while of doing it. I definitely learned my lesson in this my freshman year. Side note, do not take 8 a.m. classes. You're gonna think that you can do it, but I say no. Don't take 7 a.m. classes. Whoever created 7 a.m. classes, I hope they got fired because it is a no in my book. Like next semester, I'm going to be taking commercial theory and commercial oral skills, and all of those are at 8 a.m. So I'm like not super mad because at least it's every day. This semester, I have 8 a.m. oral skills 3, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that has ruined my life, okay? Because I have a 9 a.m. one day, then an 8 a.m., then a 9 a.m., and I'm like inconsistent. It's not good. So at least if you have one every day. But just try to avoid them at all costs. 8 a.m.s are the devil. But yeah, have a good routine, have a good eating schedule, because I know as music majors, we spend so much time studying or practicing or doing whatever that we forget to eat. Some days I don't eat till like 4 or 5 minutes because I just forget because I'm just going. And yeah, it's not healthy. I'm telling you, it's not healthy. You may think, I'm just going to do it for like a day or a couple of days. I can, do better next week. No, you start right now, okay? Because next week it'll become a habit and you'll keep doing it. And that's not good, okay? Not good. No bueno. Another thing going on with all of that is time management. Now, let me tell you, I am addicted to my Google Calendar, okay? Google Calendar is not perfect because nothing's perfect, but it's like a gift from the Lord above to me and to you because it's free. I love Google. I have a Chromebook now, and I love it so much. But, you can create your own calendars. You can create separate calendars. You can color code it. You can change the background on your calendar, okay? I have a calendar. I actually have my calendar up also right now. I have one for my personal. I have one for my bills, birthdays, my choir, family things, car maintenance, my church, my scholarship program, the company, my blog and follower co. I have one for school, self-care things, for the podcast, and for my work schedule. And I just have it all color-coded, and it makes my life so much easier. I can just look and be like, ooh, I'm doing this. And that's all she wrote. And it's on everything. It's on my phone, it's on my laptop, it's on my iPad. Also, I also use a paper planner, and I use my iPad to plan also. So just having different avenues. Sometimes I go through different phases where sometimes I want a bullet journal. Sometimes I want to plan, on paper. Sometimes I use a notebook and I just write down a massive to-do list, okay? It depends on the day. It depends on the week. It depends on the month. But just create a system that works for you, okay? Mine is Google Calendar as a foundational point of reference. Be open to different ideas and points of view. That's one of the things I love about music is that it brings together all different walks of life and it creates true diversity. And that's something I love about Lee, which I'm trying not to make this episode a whole commercial of why you should come to Lee, but it kind of turns into a whole commercial about why you should come to Lee. But that's something I love about Lee is because I have a lot of friends who are not from, Tennessee and not even from America. Some of my friends are from the Bahamas, just the Caribbean in general. Of course, I am Caribbean. So, birds of a feather kind of flock together. I have friends from Africa, I have friends from the UK, from South America and stuff, and it really it's such a blessing because they will interpret a piece of music differently than I will. And just hearing their perspectives is like just so cool. And hearing their stories and just getting to know them is so cool. So yeah, be open to different ideas and be prepared to like admit that you're wrong sometimes, or admit that maybe somebody's idea is better than your own. Humbleness is a thing that exists, okay? You know, it's also a biblical principle. And I think as music majors, you know, being a music major, you have to be kind of slightly egotistical because you're like, it's all about you in a sense, but it's the intentionality behind it. So, like, I'm a music and worship major because I want to lead God's people in worship to Him. And I think that's where a lot of the competitiveness, which is something I'll talk about later, and that's like a big cliche, and about how everyone's, you know, it's a fend for yourself, you know, survival of the fittest is really like music major life. But I think we become stronger in community together. So yeah, that's a little sermonette for you today. Be prepared to live in the practice room, okay? Okay, make sure you know you're eating, you're sleeping, you're having a good routine, you're getting your homework done, but be prepared to live in the practice room some days, okay? I spend like 75% of my week, and that's on a good week in the practice room, okay? And you either don't practice enough or you end up practicing too much. It's a lot of extremes sometimes. So just try to find that healthy balance. I know for us, me as a vocalist, I'm a mezzo soprano, and I have to learn and memorize 6 songs for my juries, which is basically our final exam for our voice lessons, or instrumental, you know, lessons. So, like, I think we have to spend like 20 to 30 hours in a practice room a week. And then for vocal performance, which they learn 9 songs a semester, they have to spend like 40 to 50. I don't know. But I know for myself, I don't spend enough time in the practice room, which is sad. So, yeah. Just make sure you have your water and a snack in the practice room at all times. Water, snack, and maybe a blanket if you need it, okay, if it's a late night. I've never slept in a practice room. That I'm surprised I haven't slept in a practice room yet. Become friends with your professors. Yo, some of these professors, I can only talk for Lee, but some of my professors are becoming like my besties, okay? My voice professor, love her to death, okay? She is one of my greatest friends now, but she also pushes me, and she knows, like, that line of, like, friendship and, like, being a professor-student, but they will advocate for you like no one can. And I know the professors at Lee, they like go out of their way. Like, I've had dinner with some of my professors, I've gone to some of their houses. Like, it's just like a different breed, and they're great, and I love them so much, and like they're iconic. So yeah, professors are great, unless you have like mean ones. Then, you know, find the good ones, seek them out, and you will get some of the greatest advice of your life from them. And also, it will make connections in the music world, because the music world is actually very tiny. It's like a small town. Everyone knows everybody. Also, along with becoming friends with your professors, get a core group of friends who will push you to do your best and will sit with you when you're crying or you're stressed out. Or they'll sit with you and force you to do homework. Like my friends, like most of my homework wouldn't get done without them, honestly. And they participate in my shenanigans, and they put up with my very loud personality. And they actually kind of bring out the extroverted side in me, which is hilarious, because I never thought I would find friends who, like, actually, like, brought that out in me, because I'm super introverted, which is something we've talked about on the podcast before. I was going to talk about more practicing, but I think I'm practiced out already. Expand your horizons. Say yes to more things out of your comfort zone. But at the same time, learn to say no because you don't want to overextend yourself. Um, I used to be so scared of performing. There was like always this like joke between me and my friends sometimes that I'm a music major that doesn't perform a lot. And a lot of that is because like I don't want to be the person who like acts to perform. Like I'd rather be axed. Because like I have this can be a whole episode on its own, okay? Imposter syndrome. I struggle with it so badly. Imposter syndrome is basically where you're in a room with people and you're like, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I cheated my way in. I cheated the system. Like, I don't know what I did to, like, be here, but I know I'm not supposed to be here. And that's me. And a lot of people deal with it. And that's something that held me back from performing so much. But I'm finally kind of getting over it, and the Lord has helped me a lot with this. And I'm actually been asked to, perform or to help lead worship, or, some of my friends have asked me to play for them in their classes. I literally told them, I said, you're friends with some of the greatest piano players that you can ask, like, why me? And they're like, you're great. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But, like, sometimes, I'm getting better, I'm practicing and, all this stuff. And I'm just always just so honored when anyone asks me. But sometimes I need to go out of my comfort zone. And I have to, like, kind of push myself. And I feel the greatest once I've done it. Like, some of those moments are some of, like core memories, like some of my greatest moments. Like when I did karaoke and completely accidentally destroyed a dude's ego. Doing Superstition by Stevie Wonder. Homeboy left. It was kind of funny though, and I kind of felt good about it. Just me, myself, and I. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, he did look like Dr. Robotnik, so it's fine. I will forever remember that. Get your hobbies. Get some hobbies that are not music. Okay, I used to be like, I have a hobby. I still enjoy music. No, you will get burnt out so fast if your only hobby that you do is music as a music major. Okay, you will hate music. I have nearly dropped out so many times because I just started hating music so much. My new hobbies are cooking and baking. I made an applesauce bread like a week ago, and it was so good. But yeah, like reading, going to watch the movies and like reviewing them, starting a podcast. This podcast is a hobby of mine. Just do things that make you feel good and that kind of get your creative juices flowing without it being music. Kind of like remove yourself from that. Yeah. Hobbies are fun though. I'm about to go back home to Nashville for a weekend to help lead worship somewhere in Dixon. And I have to pass through Nashville to go, and I'm going to ride with my mom. And I'm going to pick up my sewing machine because I've gotten back in the mood to sew again, and I'm so excited. I want to start like making my own clothes and stuff. And I've also started making bread, and I've started gardening. I have like container gardens or containers with vegetables and pots and stuff. I'm terrible at explaining things. But I have like a broccoli, and I have some celery, I have some onions, I have rosemary, basil, and thyme. And I have a few marigolds to help with pollination, bell peppers, tomatoes, that sort of stuff. So yeah, start hobbies. Reading is a fun one. I love reading. It kind of takes you away, like out of reality. I'm about to start rereading The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Books I grew up reading. So yeah, I also game. That's something people don't know about me, is like I love gaming. So, like, I'll play, like, Among Us, or I'm about to try to see if I can get Minecraft, because I love Minecraft. That's, like, a secret love of mine is Minecraft. So, yeah, hobbies are fun. Hobbies are great. Hobbies take you away from reality sometimes when you need an escape. Be prepared to learn a lot of music in a short amount of time. You will learn not even just music, but just like stuff. So like right now I'm in music theory 3, I'm in oral skills 3, I'm in piano 3, I'm in systematic theology, and I am in music history 1700 to 1850. I have 2 ensembles, and I have my voice lessons. I learn a lot of stuff on a daily basis. Like honestly, if I could just take one semester where the only class I took, or like the only class, like one semester with only theory, oral skills, and piano, or one semester with only music history, I would be golden, okay? Golden. Because it is difficult. Music history in and of itself is it is the hardest class, like across the board. Like even music majors outside of Lee, music history is just hard at every music school. I've had one of my family members retake music history 4 times because of how hard it was. Well, on the flip side, my youth pastor, I'm talking about you, Spencer Hughes, took antiquities and modern and passed with A's the first time. I'm telling you, he is a freak of nature. I am convinced. No one does it except him. He's the only person I've heard that's done that. But you learn so much, and a lot of the information is so interesting. Like I think I mentioned this earlier, but some of these composers are whack. Some of them ended up in like asylums. Most of them probably should have ended up in asylums. But that is just the price you pay for art, I guess, is your sanity, which I think is, one of the things that's really come out of the pandemic and stuff is some of the most like heart-wrenching music, I think. And it's because a lot of us we were all just in such a low place mentally. We had to have an outlet to get those feelings out, and a lot of us went to music. Because again, music is kind of like a healing salve for the soul. So yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you learn a lot. And like having, 6 songs on top of that for vocalists and 1 or 2 for instrumentalists, but it's like instrumental songs are long, so it's like the equivalent of learning like 4 songs. It's a lot, and it's a lot for you to balance. So yeah, that's all of that. Now we have some questions. I'm gonna rapid fire. Well, I don't think I'm gonna rapid fire, but I definitely want to like take some time to talk about these. What's something nice you could do for a music major? Honestly, like just give them like room to like breathe. Give them room to, feel. This is coming from an Enneagram 4, which, yeah. Just give them like room to exist, honestly. And if they've been in the practice room or been studying for like 6 hours straight, pull them away, please, because we will lose ourselves in the material and in the practice rooms. Like, take us out to eat, take us out to McDonald's, take us to a movie, get us out, like get us in nature or around people, because being a music major is also one of the most isolating things you can be, because it's just you and your music, okay, in a practice room. So a bunch of my friends, like I will go in and I will sit with them in the practice room so they're not alone, and some of them do it the same for me, because it can be so isolating. Which, I mean, I guess that kind of prepared us for quarantine in a sense, because like we were just alone in a practice room, and now we were like alone in our bedrooms. Oh, that's kind of depressing. Oh, I just made myself sad. music majors knew. We knew it. So yeah. How many instruments must you learn to play? It depends on what your major is. For music ed, I believe the class is instrumental techniques for vocalists. You learn how to play clarinet, a little bit of each instrument, like clarinet, flute, piano, not piano, you have to learn piano anyway. Trumpet, which as an ex-trumpet player, I was excited. For backstory, I'm an ex-music ed major, and now I'm music and worship. But yeah, I know all around the board, most of us, unless you're a piano major, you have to learn piano. For music and worship, you can either take piano for music and worship majors, or you can take guitar. I already play guitar, so I'm going to take piano. But yeah. So not many instruments, depending on what your major is and what your emphasis is, instrumentally or vocally. What does one do with a music major? It depends. Music ed, you can go into, music, being a music teacher in like elementary or middle school. Some people are called to middle school, not I. You can, be a worship leader with a music and worship major. Music business, you can go into the music industry and do many things with that. Vocal performance, you can go out and, perform in, opera houses or whatever, or really just do whatever you want. You can open your own studio and stuff. You can get a BA in music and with a minor in psychology, and then go on to do your master's in music therapy. A couple of my friends are doing that. So there are many options. You can do basically anything, honestly, with a music major. What's the most challenging class in your major? I just covered this, music history. Music history. Like, chills, okay? Music history is the class you don't want to take, but you have to take. It is not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of memorization. And even if you're good at history classes, music history is a whole other beast in itself. So I'm praying for all the music majors that have to take music history. It's rough. It's a rough. Pray for your fellow music majors. How many hours a week do you spend in a practice room? For myself, not enough. I should practice more. I may practice tonight, actually. I have to have 2 songs memorized by tomorrow. By the time y'all are listening to this, it will have already passed. But, yeah, I spend maybe 10, 15 hours, 20 maybe in a practice room every week, which is definitely not enough. How do you stick with it from a music school dropout? You have to want it. You have to be motivated for it. And you have to want it so badly that, you have to have the intentionality behind it, honestly. And it has to be a pure desire for it. Or else you will get lost in the motion and you will end up, losing all sense of reality. And it's just music helps people so much, and it kind of comes from that want of helping people and wanting to make the world a better place through music and wanting to raise future generations to appreciate the thing that saved you, honestly. So yeah, that's one of the original reasons why I wanted to become a music education major, was because my choir director in high school impacted me so much, and she gave me a safe space to be myself and to be unapologetically me, and to also, give me opportunities I never would have had. I did All-State for 2 years. I was student director. I We traveled to Chicago and sang in the Symphony Center there. We traveled to the Biltmore and sang there. We competed in Festival Disney and got a 97 out of 100. I went to London with them and we sang in the International Choral Festival and we walked in the New Year's Day Parade. All of that would not have happened without my choir and without my director. Now, right now, I'm hearing from my kids, they're going through a rough time right now with this new director, but I'm telling them to hold fast, things are gonna get better. And you've put so much work, and I believe you're gonna see the fruits of your labor in the future. And one of my kids is about to go and be a music major, and honestly, that's what this episode was birthed out of, things I wish I would have told myself, going into college. So this episode is for all future music majors, honestly. And maybe I'll do a part 2 of this and bring in some of my music major friends. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer. Favorite part of music ed, lol, rip. This question was from my ex-roommate, Carrie Schneider. I love you, girl. Favorite part of music ed, honestly, directing or conducting. Yeah, I love directing and stuff. It's fun. What exactly do you study? Because music major is so broad and kind of intimidating to me. I'm specifically a music and worship major. So, yeah. Let me pull up the last question, cuz this is a good question, okay? This is where I'm going to get a little heated, cuz this I can go off on this question. How many ensembles do you feel like you have to be a part of / want to be a part of, and how many actually fit in on your schedule without having to audit any? For those of you who don't know, this is the way it was explained to me, or how I sort of figured it out. An audit is when you're in a class or in an ensemble, you take the class, but you don't get credit for it. So you can take a 1-credit ensemble class, and it'll count towards your degree, but financially or on your school, whatever system they use, it'll count for 0, so it'll be a pass or fail. That's how it's been explained to me. I don't know if that's actually how it is, but anyway, that's what an audit is. Now, ensembles. Ensembles are vastly different between vocalists and instrumentalists, okay? Because it's you're speaking 2 different languages. So for me, my freshman year, I took 18 hours, 17 to 18 hours both semesters. Don't do it, girl. Do not overload yourself. Don't. You're going to regret it, okay? Unless you know without a shadow of a doubt you can do it, don't do it. Or at least wait, until you're further into school, a few semesters in. So I was taking 17 to 18 hours, and I had to audit 2 of my ensembles, choral union and EVS. Well, so that means I was basically taking 18 to 19 hours, yeah. Which was a lot. It was a lot for me, and I should not have done it, and I regret it to this day. But I will say, some of these ensembles are trifling, okay? I can think of some ensembles where, especially this is more for instrumentalists, because there's so few of them. And let me tell you, enrollment numbers since, the year after COVID, were way down, okay? And that's just across the board, not just at Lee, but across the board, at most music schools or most universities everywhere, okay? So it's not really their fault for what's been happening, but there have been situations where some bands are required to have so many of an instrumental, part, 4 trombones, 5 tubas, whatever, that they're having to, force people from, outside of the ensemble who may not want to be in this group into it because they have to have these parts filled. Well, that can get very toxic very fast, because what you have created is an environment where there is hostility brewing, and it is not good for that, okay? So if that happens to you, say no, okay? Say no. If, I know, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't know why that just popped in my mind. But, yes, whatever. But if it's going to, jeopardize you and your health, and it's going to make you overextend yourself, no. Don't do it. Because it's detrimental to you. And you won't be able to focus where your priorities will not be straight, because you end up putting the ensemble above yourself and above your studies. It's what happens. And some of these directors have no mercy, which is sad. And it honestly breaks my heart. And I have heard people coming out of ensembles with eating disorders, with anxiety disorders, with crippling depression, because they were forced into something and it turned very toxic very fast. So don't do it. And if they still try to make you, go to the higher ups, go to the dean, go to the, university, administration people. I don't care. Get it resolved. Yeah. It honestly breaks my heart, because some of my friends are having to deal with this, and I keep telling them, your health and your safety and your, just your overall well-being is more important than filling an instrumental part. That's why they have contracted musicians in to different ensembles. Anyway, let me not go on another rampage, okay? So, that ends this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want me to do another episode like this, I'll bring some of my music major friends together, and we'll just talk, and we will converse and do all the things. So yeah, don't forget to follow us on the Instagram. And I hope you guys have a good day. Hope you have a good week. Hope you have a good month. And I hope you have a good year. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye. Okay. What is up, guys? It is time for a new edition of Songs of the BiWeek. If you don't know what this is, it is basically where I give you guys some song recommendations. There's my cat. Hi, honey. Domino, do you want to say anything for the podcast? No. She knows I'm about to have to leave to go to work. But this episode's Songs of the BiWeek, they are What He's Done by Passion, featuring Anna Golden, I believe her name is, Tasha Cobbs Leonard, and Christian Stanfill, and No One by Elevation Worship, featuring Chandler Moore. So What He's Done is a song that came out in January. It was released, and the first time performed at Passion, which I'll be doing an episode about Passion soon, I think, in just my experience. But What He's Done, it's such a fun song. It's such a good song, and I love it. And it's actually good for the Easter season, the season that we're in right now. So yeah, it's a fun song. Tasha, queen, love her. Love Kristen, he's cool. And Anna Golden is someone that I didn't know, but she has a fantastic voice, and I love her voice so much. What do you want? My cat's crawling all over me. And then No One. No One is a song I did not expect from Elevation. It's a very hype song. It has like a very strong like African beat to it, but I'm living for it. It's such a fun song. It's definitely one of my top songs of 2022 so far. So yeah, if y'all want to listen to those, click the links in the show notes for the Apple Music and the Spotify playlists. And I hope y'all have a good few weeks. And don't forget to send your song recommendations to the podcast or to my personal Instagram at Noelle_Janae and at TimeNoellePod. So yeah, have a great time, guys. Thank you guys so much for timing out with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe or follow to the podcast wherever you listen on. And if you would like, please share it with your friends and family so they can also listen and y'all can talk about it and they can just connect with everything. And if you would like, please follow us on the Instagram at TimeNoellePod. And if you would like to listen to the songs that I mentioned in Songs of the BiWeek, once again, the links for the Apple Music and Spotify playlists are in the show notes. And don't forget to be love like Jesus, and don't forget to time out for a little bit this week. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye!